After dropping Saturday's What Sold video, I noticed several other resellers have been talking about their reselling business being a little lackluster for January and or the start of February. So thinking through that, I have put together 8 things that I am doing for February to help jumpstart my reselling business, and I want to share them with you. Hi Sequels friends, welcome back to my channel. It is so wonderful to have you here on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. If you happen to be new, my name is Heather and I am a part-time reseller across various online platforms, and I like to use this YouTube channel to document my journey. And today, as you saw in the intro, we are talking about 8 things that you can do to help jumpstart your reselling business. And before we get into everything, can we just remark on the beauty that is not my squeaky chair, but that is this wool blazer. I'm telling you, check it out. Plus size, 18, velvety up here, wool, and it's Alfred Dunner. And did I mention $5? Yes, $5. It will be up for sale, but I can't resist. It might be one of those, you know, in my closet while it's in my other closets until it sells. But I had to wear it today because it's too cute, and we're talking about business, so I put on my 80s business shoulder pads and we're getting into it. Hopefully these 8 things that I'm going to do will help get me closer towards my goal, and I'm implementing them for February. We'll see how it goes when we hit February's What Sold video, and then I'll let you know what's worked for me and what hasn't. Number 1 thing to do is just keep listing. A lot of times when we have lackluster sales, it kind of turns us into an emotional wreck, and we don't even want to continue doing what we should be doing on a daily basis, because it seems like, what's the point? I'm listing all these things and nothing's selling. Get that out of your mind right now and just keep listing. If you break your routine, things are going to get worse, not better. So if you haven't already set a listing goal, set it for yourself. In my opinion, you need to list regularly. Doesn't mean daily. Daily is not conducive to all of our lifestyles, especially as a part-timer, but it needs to be consistent. Number 2 thing that we can do to jumpstart our reselling business is to keep thrifting. And I have to tell you, I'm not sure that this is a problem for most of you guys, because when I read through the comment sections on my reselling videos as well as other reselling videos, I always see so many people saying, I have no trouble going out thrifting, I have death piles that I need to list. And this is not a problem for everybody. But if you've watched my channel for some time, you do know this is a problem for me. And a lot of that reason is because I am a complete cheapskate. And as soon as my sales drop off, I do not want to spend any money, or I start to cut back on expenses. And one of the major expenses to cut back on is to not continue to source. Especially if you already have a death pile, especially if you have, I don't have a death pile, but I do have about 30 things to list based on stuff that I thrifted last week. So I am here to remind you, continue listening, continue sourcing. Number 3 thing that I'm doing to jumpstart my reselling business is I have a lot of things that have been in my shop for quite some time, and I have not touched them. I have been on a set it and forget it mentality, and I have started to go back to those older items, pull up the listing, and check them against current eBay comps, because a lot of times the price is not reflective at all of what its current value is. A great example of this is I just relisted a Lawrence Kazar, I'll show you a picture here, silk beaded top. These silk beaded tops have always typically brought me in about $40 to $50. But when I just recently checked comps on this one, the comps were anywhere between $25 to $40. So that's a significant difference. Even if I'm sending out offers to watchers and likers, the amount that I send out is still not putting me anywhere close to the current retail prices or current retail comps. So it's important to go through, especially in times like this when business is slow and you have a little bit more time, go through some of those older listings, check the comps, and adjust pricing as needed. The number 4 thing you can do to help increase your sales during this slower time period is to run a sale. So you can rotate through categories and plan sales. It's really easy to do on eBay and Etsy, and you can plan them in advance and make yourself like a little advertising calendar. I'm going to run this category this week, maybe this category the following week, skip a week, and plan it out. And the 5th thing we can do to help move some stagnant product and help generate some sales is bundle up some items. And this is a tip that I got from reseller Bama Jaybird Resells, and I'll tag him so that you guys, if you aren't familiar with him, can go over and watch. I've come across his channel recently and I'm really enjoying it. And one of the tips that he gave is he noticed that on certain categories of product, if you bundle, that you actually have a better sell-through rate on eBay. And I started looking at this for some of my stagnant product. So like I have several items that are size 2 jeans. And I started looking on eBay sold and noticed that if I bundled those jeans, I was more likely to sell them than if I listed them individually. Not only will it help increase my average sale price, but it may help move some items that have just been sitting and stagnant. So that is another thank you, Bama, for that information, because it really got my wheels turning on how I can hopefully move some old inventory and also think about whether I should just be bundling to begin with. Now, the sixth thing that I have listed for a way to increase your overall sales and business is to be active on the platform. And several things that I've said already are you being active on the platform. By you going and delisting and relisting, or by you looking at old items and changing the titles, or by you going in and changing the price of something. All of those things, just being active on the platform helps. I've noticed this consistently on Etsy and eBay. The more that I'm on the platform, whether I'm just tweaking prices, adjusting things, responding to customers more quickly than I would normally do when things are a bit busier, I really do see a little push, and it seems like people notice my shop more when I'm active and in it. The number 7 thing that you can do is not really something that's going to necessarily impact your sales, but it will change your mindset, which could indirectly impact your sales. What I mean by that is something that I did when I shared with you my What Sold video in January. When my sales were down in January, besides the initial, I stink, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do, my sales suck, I suck, why am I even doing all this? Not the right mindset. Where my mind goes, but I'm old enough to know I have to redirect where my mind goes a lot of times. It's not always helping me out. And the first thing that I ended up doing was saying, okay, well, where were my sales last year? And when I looked at my sales from the year previous, I realized that while January was down, was not what I wanted to accomplish this year, I still did better than I did the previous year. And that's a nice little reminder for you. You may also want to look back 3-6 months and say, have my sales been going like this for the last 6 months and then just did this for January? Okay, well, that's a blip in the entire year. We don't need to freak out. And the last thing you can do that will indirectly or even directly help increase your sales is tip number 8, which is to do some other things that will help your reselling business. What you could do is focus on learning about some new brands. Watch some resellers What Sold videos. Maybe you'll see some brands that you didn't know about that you can pick up when you're out thrifting. Or maybe there's some new categories to sell that you're not involved in that you could spend this time learning about that will eventually help you in the long run to know new product that would sell. If we haven't talked about it already, you can list your death pile. Everybody has one. Procrastinate on listing them. Now's the time to bite the bullet, and don't feel like you have to get it all accomplished. Just say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes today photographing my death pile. If you're like me, you probably have some items that need fixing. Anybody remember the ski suit that I bought that's all messed up? Now is the time to work on those items. One of the things I really enjoy doing during a slow time, I do this in my corporate career and I do it in my part-time reselling business, is get my office organized. When things are slow, now's the time to make sure all of my supplies are in stock. Is there something about my office that's been bugging me that I need to rearrange or correct? Do I not like the way that I am storing inventory? Should I go ahead and spend the time making that adjustment? It's a good time to do it when things are slow. You could expand onto new platforms. If you don't already use Vendoo or List Perfectly or some sort of cross-listing program, maybe now's the time to go ahead and consider doing that. And the last thing that you could do under that same vein of spending my free time doing other things that could help my reselling business, maybe it's time to expand your social media. Maybe you don't do social media at all and you should just pick a platform and focus on it. Maybe you haphazardly do social media. So now would be a great time to come up with a social media strategy. And maybe you already do social media, but you haven't been like willing to do reels or lives or whatever it may be. And now's the time that you could go ahead and do that. So you will see over the next month, I'm going to be implementing a lot of these strategies. You may see me on the social media platforms that I've never re-entered since I've returned to my reselling business. You may see some shorts, you may see some TikToks, because while time is a little bit slower and you're not spending all that time shipping, you might as well get into the new habit that will, when things pick up, it will benefit you. And while things are slow, you may find it brings some business your way. So as I said in the beginning, what suggestions do you have? What are you working on right now to help jumpstart your reselling business? Are there any of the things that I mentioned that you've tried and you're like, they do not work for me? But I'll tell you what has worked for me, this. List them in the comments section below. I hope some of these tips you have not heard and that they are beneficial to you. And I cannot wait to see what you guys contribute in the comment section below. As always, I so appreciate you guys tuning in and watching my channel. I do hope that you find this video useful, helpful, informative. If you do, consider giving me that thumbs up. If you've been a looky-loo for a while, consider going ahead and subscribing. I really do appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday with some more reselling content. Have a good week, guys. Bye.